All right, so what is previs and why is it important? Previs is extremely necessary for people who are visual. So if you are a visual learner, or if you just are better at communicating ideas visually instead of writing screenplays, treatments, or even drawing storyboards. There are people, if you're like me, then I know you can relate to this. I am very interested in film, but I am not interested in writing screenplays, treatments. I find that very boring. And so for me, if I was a Hollywood executive and you had an idea and you wanted to pitch a movie to me, sending me a very long script probably wouldn't be the best way, because I wouldn't read it. Even sending me the first 5 pages of your book would not be the best approach for someone like me. For people like me who are visual learners, people who prefer to see visuals, to see a poster or a picture, even if it's a sketch on a piece of paper, to me, that would go a long way. It would convince me more to invest in making a film than reading a screenplay. So that's the power of previs. If you're trying to sell your idea to Hollywood, okay, if you're trying to sell your idea, or if you're trying to pitch your idea, previs is a very good way to help directors and Hollywood executives see visually what your movie could look like, okay? Now, if you are already in Hollywood and you are already a director and you've already been hired and you have a particular scene that you need to raise money for, and especially when it comes to fight scenes, it's very difficult to explain a fight scene by writing it down. It's usually better to create an animation of the fight scene, and then you can pitch that idea to the executives, and if they like it, then they'll give you the money, the millions and millions of dollars that you're going to need in order to shoot that scene. So that's the power of previs. Learning how to properly previs is not only going to help you get good jobs in Hollywood, but it'll also help you, like I said, to sell your idea. It's a lot better to create something like this than to write a screenplay. Nothing against writing scripts and treatments, but like I said, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and a video is even worth more. So investing the time into learning previs is a very important skill set. And the beautiful thing about previs is that you don't have to worry too much about making it too good looking, because a previs is just like a floor plan. So just think of it that way. A previs is like a floor plan for a house. So it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect. Your lighting doesn't have to be perfect. The most important thing with previs is just making sure that you are taking into account the frame rates. So you have to record the frame rates. If it's 30 frames per second, each scene that you have put in your previs, make sure that you're taking note of the cameras that you're using, the lens that you're using, and you want to include these data in your previs, so that when you pitch this to someone, if you send this to a Hollywood executive or director, if they like a particular scene and they ask you, oh, what lens did you use for that scene? What frame rate did you shoot this on? You will be able to answer those questions, and better yet, just put all of that information in the video when you send it. Okay, so you want to make sure when you're creating for professionals, when you're ready to take your animation to the next level, and you're creating for Hollywood, for people who actually make films, the camera is everything. So when you're prevising, you have to take note of the cameras that you're using, because the software that we're going to be using, which is iClone, what I love about it is that iClone has real-world cameras and real-world lenses. And so you always want to take note of the lens that you're using. Always use a lens that corresponds to a real camera in the real world. And you want to put that information in your video, okay? If you are very good at previs, the final product is going to look extremely identical to your previs. So when you previs and a director likes your movie, right? If a director or a Hollywood executive likes the previs that you made and they want to take this scene, okay, sometimes all you have to do is make one scene, and if they like it, they'll build an entire movie around that scene. So if you make a very good scene, even if it's only 30 seconds long, if you have someone with vision and they like it, they will see that and they'll write an entire screenplay around that scene. So the key is make a very good movie. You can previs an entire movie if you have the time to do so. But typically, previs is only for specific scenes. Now, when you previs, the final movie should be extremely identical to the previs. Previs should not be so totally different from the final product. It should be pretty much identical. The only thing that you change is that you substitute the animated characters for real people. Okay, but as far as the cameras, the lenses, the direction, the lighting, it should be pretty much identical to what you did in your previs. So that's why it's important to be very good at previs, because the acting, the timing, the timing is very important. You want to make sure you pay attention to the number of seconds of each clip. You want to pay attention to how slowly the characters turn. For instance, in this scene here, this is a slow and dramatic turn. Camera zooms into the face, and things like that, little details like that, because when you're actually shooting this movie in real life, this is how it's supposed to look. So you want to make sure that when you're prevising, you're actually making the movie the way you would like it to be made in real life. Okay? Very important. How many seconds was that? Maybe 2-3 seconds? 1. So that's why we put the time here, because timing is very important when you're filming. All right. So that is previs. I hope I've answered that question of what is previs. That is previs, okay? Previs is basically making your movie before the movie gets made. Now, the very first step of this process is to create your characters. So in this scene, we have 3 agents and we have Neo. It's a very simple scene. You only need 4 characters on the scene. And so because there's only 4 characters on the scene, there's no need to turn the characters into a game base. You can leave them at high polygon counts, because there aren't many characters on the screen. In the scene, it shouldn't bog down your computer. So I did not change any of these characters to a game base. I left all of them at very high polygon count. They're very high poly characters, CC3 plus characters. And so once you've created your characters, there we go. Just look at the lighting. Okay. So once you've created your characters, all you're going to do is you're going to click this button here to send this character to iClone. And then let's look at our other character, the agent. So now we're going to load the agent so you can take a look at this character, and make sure that you download the project file that I've included as a part of this course, because you will not have to create any of this yourself. I've already done it for you to speed up the process for you. Okay, so you're going to have this character as well. You're going to get these 2 characters. You're going to get Neo and you're going to get Agent Smith. And all I did was just change the hair to black. If you want it to be black, Agent Smith has black hair. So just come down here and we're going to change his hair to, black. Something like that. Okay, there we go. Maybe a little blacker. It's a little darker. There we go. Okay. All right. And there you go. So you're going to get Agent Smith and you're going to get Neo. And again, when you're done creating your characters, you're going to click this button here to send the character to iClone, and then we will get started on the animation, setting up a scene, setting up some basic lighting, and working on animating and prevising step by step. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video. We're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to start animating. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.